The rise and fall of the Axis powers. The world was still haunted by the shadows of the First World War. The Great War had ended in 1918, leaving millions dead and nations broken. The Treaty of Versailles punished Germany severely, taking away its land, disbanding much of its army, and demanding enormous reparations. The German people were humiliated, their economy shattered, their pride destroyed. Out of this despair, a man named Adolf Hitler rose to power, promising to rebuild Germany, restore national pride, and defy the treaty that had humiliated them. Meanwhile, in Italy, another ambitious leader, Benito Mussolini, had already created the world's first fascist regime. He preached nationalism, military power, and a return to the glory of the ancient Roman Empire. And across the seas, Japan, led by a powerful military government, was expanding rapidly in Asia, seeking resources and dominance in the Pacific. These three nations, Germany, Italy, and Japan, would soon find common cause. Their goal was simple: to reshape the world by force. The formation of the Axis. In 1936, Germany and Italy signed the Rome-Berlin Axis, symbolizing their alliance and shared vision. A year later, Japan joined through the Anti-Comintern Pact, opposing communism and the Soviet Union. Finally, in 1940, they signed the Tripartite Pact, officially creating what became known as the Axis powers. Each member had its ambition. Germany sought domination over Europe. Italy wanted to build a new Roman Empire across the Mediterranean. Japan aimed to control East Asia and the Pacific. They believed the world's future belonged to strong nations willing to conquer, not to those who sought peace. The beginning of war. On September 1, 1939, Germany invaded Poland. 2 days later, Britain and France declared war on Germany. World War II had begun. Poland fell quickly to Germany's blitzkrieg, a new style of lightning warfare, combining tanks, aircraft, and fast infantry attacks. By the spring of 1940, Germany turned west. Denmark and Norway fell. Then, France, one of the strongest nations in Europe, collapsed in just 6 weeks. Hitler stood triumphant. Britain, led by Winston Churchill, now stood alone against Nazi Germany. Meanwhile, Mussolini joined the war, attacking British forces in North Africa and Greece. In Asia, Japan continued its brutal expansion into China, seeking control of the entire region. By 1941, it seemed the Axis powers were unstoppable. The war expands. But ambition knows no limits. In June 1941, Hitler made a fateful decision: to invade the Soviet Union under Operation Barbarossa. Millions of German soldiers crossed the border, expecting a quick victory. At first, they advanced rapidly, taking vast territories. But soon, the Russian winter and fierce Soviet resistance turned the campaign into disaster. Then, on December 7, 1941, Japan launched a surprise attack on Pearl Harbor, destroying much of the U.S. Pacific Fleet. The next day, the United States declared war on Japan. In response, Germany and Italy declared war on the United States. The conflict had now become truly global. Europe, Africa, Asia, and the Pacific were all engulfed in flames. The Axis at its peak. By 1942, the Axis powers controlled most of Europe and large parts of Asia. From the Atlantic coast of France to the deserts of Egypt, from Norway to Greece, Hitler's empire stretched far and wide. Japan had seized Hong Kong, Singapore, the Philippines, and much of Southeast Asia. They seemed invincible. But beneath the surface, cracks were beginning to form. The Axis had overextended themselves, fighting wars on multiple fronts, facing enemies with greater manpower, industrial power, and unity. The Allied nations, the United States, the Soviet Union, Britain, and China, were determined to fight back. The turning points. The first major turning point came in Stalingrad in 1942. German forces, trapped in brutal street fighting, were surrounded and forced to surrender. It was Hitler's first great defeat. In North Africa, British and American forces defeated the Axis at El Alamein, forcing German and Italian troops to retreat. By 1943, the Allies invaded Italy, and Mussolini's government collapsed. Italy surrendered, though German forces fought on there for another year. In the Pacific, the United States won critical battles at Midway and Guadalcanal, halting Japan's expansion and beginning the long, bloody road toward Japan itself. Step by step, the Axis powers were being pushed back. The fall of Hitler and Germany. In June 1944, the Allies launched Operation Overlord, the D-Day landings in Normandy, France. It was the largest invasion in history. Hundreds of thousands of troops stormed the beaches, breaking through German defenses. From the west, the Allied armies advanced through France. From the east, the Soviet Union pushed from Russia, reclaiming one city after another. By April 1945, Berlin was surrounded. Hitler, now hiding in his bunker, refused to surrender. On April 30, 1945, he took his own life. A week later, Germany signed an unconditional surrender, May 8, 1945, Victory in Europe Day. The once mighty German Reich was in ruins. The end of Japan. Even after Germany's defeat, Japan fought on fiercely. The Allies launched a devastating island-hopping campaign, capturing Iwo Jima and Okinawa at enormous cost. But Japan refused to surrender. Then, in August 1945, the United States dropped 2 atomic bombs, one on Hiroshima on August 6 and another on Nagasaki on August 9. Within days, over 200,000 people were dead or wounded. Facing total destruction, Japan finally surrendered on September 2, 1945. World War II, the deadliest conflict in human history, was over. Aftermath and legacy. The Axis powers had fallen. Their dreams of empire had ended in ruins and tragedy. More than 70 million lives were lost. Entire cities were reduced to ash. Germany was divided between East and West. Italy became a republic, rejecting fascism forever. Japan was occupied by Allied forces and rebuilt as a democracy. From the ashes of war, new institutions were born. The United Nations, created to maintain peace and prevent another global conflict. But the world also entered a new era, the Cold War, as tensions rose between the United States and the Soviet Union. The rise and fall of the Axis powers stands as one of the most powerful stories in human history. A warning of how ambition, hatred, and unchecked power can destroy nations, and a reminder that peace must always be protected. From the ruins of Berlin to the silent shadows of Hiroshima, the echoes of that war still remind us today that the pursuit of domination always leads to destruction, and that the greatest victory humanity can achieve is peace. The Rise and Fall of the Axis Powers. A documentary on the war that changed the world.